pounds, the World Wrestling Federation Champion, 𝖐D.W.O𤐐. Well, fellas, are you guys excited about meeting the champ?
Yes, sir.
Is this your first time backstage at a WWF event?
This is my first time being this close to anything this big.
Well, don't be nervous. Just go in there, introduce yourselves, and have a good time.
Troy, this is intense. Did you see who just went by? It was Doink. Do you think Diesel's really gonna let us interview him?
The school arranged it with the WWF. Diesel is busy, but he has time for people who are trying hard to get ahead, like us, writing for the school newspaper for extra credit.
I hope he gives us a good interview. You know our grades depend on it.
Remember, be polite and to the point. He's the champion. It's Diesel.
It's you. I mean him. No, it's you. Diesel, Big Daddy Cool.
I understand you're here to interview me.
Mr. Diesel. I mean Champ. I have a special assignment for my school newspaper. The entire school system wants to know more about you, and we got the assignment to interview you.
Let's start by me asking a question. What are your names?
I'm Troy, and that's Jack.
Glad to meet you guys. We should better start now because after I talk, I have to warm up for my match.
How long have you been wrestling?
What was your longest match?
What kind of car do you drive?
What do you do when you're not in the ring?
How long did it take you to get into shape like that?
Whoa, guys, slow down. I can only answer one question at a time. Which one of you is first?
How long have you been wrestling, and when did you get started?
I've been wrestling for 5 years, and to tell you how I got started, quite frankly, was I was very interested in getting into professional wrestling, but really didn't know how to get into it. So I checked around and talked to some people, and they told me that there was a professional wrestling school on the south side of Atlanta. At the time, I was working at a nightclub as a bouncer, so I'd work the day shift as a bouncer, and then at nighttime at 7:30, I'd drive out of there and then go into the school. I did that for 9 months and banged around for a couple years in some of the smaller organizations until I finally got my break as Shawn Michaels' bodyguard. And the rest, they say, is history.
Who is your toughest opponent?
That's not an easy question. I've been in the ring against some of the great athletes and some very rugged men. It seems like every day another 300-pound guy walks through the door that wants a shot at Big D. But I guess the wrestler who's pushed me the hardest was Bret the Hitman Hart. You know, he's a kind of a complete wrestling package. Nobody's a better technical wrestler than Bret, and he's tremendously athletic, and this isn't a pun, but the guy's got a huge amount of heart. Shawn Michaels has got to rank right up there as one of the toughest opponents, even though I've only wrestled him one time. I mean, his aerial skills, his athleticism, and his deceptive strength, I mean, he made him a worthy opponent also.
How did you get the name Big Daddy Cool?
Well, the name Big Daddy Cool actually came from Shawn Michaels. The legend goes that one time I was sleeping and they put a tray of ice on my back as a practical joke. The only thing was, the ice didn't melt. Now that's cool.
What do you do when you're not in the ring? How do you have fun?
I used to play basketball and still really enjoy watching it. Of course, I also like weightlifting, and I love to listen to music.
What kind?
I listen to progressive, I'd say Generation X, and a lot of rhythm and blues. And I like rap also.
Hey, so do we.
Yeah, wanna hear us?
Sure.
2, 3, go. Let me tell you about Diesel. He is the man, meanest, leanest across the land. When it comes to being bad, he is the best. In the WWF, he's passed the test. So if you wanna know who's got it going on, then Diesel keeps rolling right along. Whether in New York, Chicago, DC, you can see Big Daddy Cool, count him out, 1, 2, 3. So if the best is what you seek, Diesel is hard to beat. So let me hear you say it loud and clear. Big Daddy Cool is here.
You guys are pretty good.
You can sing for me anytime.
Diesel, my readers would like to know what you considered a major turning point in your life.
When I was 21 years old, I left college without graduating. I had no focus or set goals, so with a friend, I joined the Army.
What did that do for you?
It helped me put my life in perspective. It taught me discipline and responsibility. Without those qualities, I never would have made it as a professional wrestler.
Mr. Diesel, Bart Mason, Daily News. That may be true, but you got a reputation for being a pretty rough customer in the ring.
When you get between the ropes, you've got to be rugged. I mean, you can't let up because the other guy won. I'll admit it, I've got a bit of a rough edge because when I was a kid, hey, I got in a lot of scraps. When things get hot in the ring, so does Big Daddy Cool.
Diesel, tell us about your most embarrassing moment.
When I was first crowned the heavyweight champion at World Wrestling Federation, I was assigned to do an autograph session at a local video store in New York City. Because they had a couple of different outlets, I went to one and there was nobody there, and I thought, geez, this is kind of embarrassing. But then I later found out that I was at the wrong store and there was a couple thousand people waiting up the street at a different location.
My readers want to know more about your personal life.
Wait a minute, lady. This is my interview. I've got some more questions for Diesel.
He's right. The boys get first call on the questions.
What kind of car do you drive?
Since I was raised in Detroit, I've always liked cars. You know, it is the Motor City. Now, I have a few of them, but, you know, when I was young, my mother and my father both worked for Ford, so, you know, I'm kind of partial to Fords.
You've met lots of people who are famous, just like you. Tell us about some of them.
A big thrill for me was meeting former President Gerald Ford at the Sportscasters Banquet in New York City. He's one of my favorite former presidents, and with a name like Ford, you know he's got to be Big Daddy Cool's man.
Champ, we know you've got to warm up, but do you still have time for more questions?
My match is the last one on the card, so I have little time left. I got to stretch, I got to warm up, you know, got to break a sweat, got to get these muscles loose.
How do you warm up?
Push-ups.
Can you show us?
Sure.
Wow. I bet you could do push-ups all night.
Champ, did exercising make you so big? I hear some guys get big by taking stuff like steroids.
Jack, there's one thing you leave this room with today. I hope it's this. Any gains you make while taking steroids will soon diminish when you go off them. They're as addictive as any other drug like cocaine. That's why I think the federal government has banned them.
I had a dream that I was wrestling Psycho Sid at the Forum in Los Angeles. It was on television and everything. The crowd was at capacity. There was excitement in the air.
Okay, that's the bell. Troy takes the advantage and takes Psycho Sid with a wrist lock. He sends Psycho Sid flying into the corner. Man, what a hit! Sid bounces off the ring pole. Psycho Sid has fallen flat on his face. Troy is going for the pin. 1, 2, Psycho Sid just beat the count. Psycho Sid advances on Troy. Sid grabs Troy and bounces him off the center ring ropes. I've never seen Psycho Sid so mad. He's put him in a death grip. Psycho Sid has raised Troy over his head and walking toward the ropes. Ladies and gentlemen, Psycho Sid is going to slam Troy down on the concrete apron. Oh, he's to die. But look, folks, look who's jumping into the ring. It's Big Daddy Cool Diesel himself. It's Diesel. Diesel goes after Psycho Sid. Psycho Sid has dropped Troy onto the mat and is trying to get out of the ring. Big Daddy Cool is advancing on Psycho.
And that's when I woke up, just before I was slammed.
You could be destroyed in a dream like that.
I'd still like to be a professional wrestler.
Wrestling's a very demanding way to make a living, guys. I mean, the travel alone kills most of the guys and runs the weaker ones off. You know, you have to have a great amount of athletic skills. You have to build up your strength and your endurance. Then you have to learn how to wrestle on a professional level. It takes a long time just to reach that point at which you can compete. And you have to love to compete. I mean, you know, it's not like a lot of sports we do this 1 or 2 times. You do this every night. You do it year in and year out. You know, there's no off season. Everybody who's reached the top of the World Wrestling Federation has definitely paid their dues.
Show us how to do some moves, champ.
Let me tell you right off the bat, you know, kids should never try wrestling moves and holds on their own. Like I said, it takes years of training to do what we do in the ring. If you want to start wrestling, find an organized amateur program at your school or in an athletic center. Make sure you have supervision. You know, one good injury and it could be all over.
How often do you use the jackknife finisher?
You know, I use the jackknife finisher every night. Anytime I can. I mean, that's why it's my finish.
How does your family feel about your career as a WWF wrestler and being champion?
I think my family's very proud of me. I I think that they look at me and they say that, you know, I set some goals and achieved them. I think it says a lot for the way my family's always been. I think our entire family sets goals and goes after them. My family's proud, and I think, you know, any family would be. I mean, I am the World Wrestling Federation champion.
Mr. Diesel, Bart Mason again. How much money do you make in the WWF?
Well, much more than I made before I joined it, I tell you that.
Champ, what has been the biggest highlight of your career so far?
Well, winning the Intercontinental title was something that I'll never forget because it was the first time I'd won any kind of belt in professional wrestling. But there's nothing like the feeling on November 26th when I won the Federation title from Bob Backlund. I mean, it's not every day in your life that a dream comes true, and on that night, it definitely did.
What do you want to do when your wrestling career is over?
I plan to be in the Federation for a long time to come. Still, sooner or later, every wrestler's career's got to end. Right now, I'm not sure exactly what I'll do. But later on, you know, I've always been interested in acting, so maybe I'll give that a shot.
Getting back to your personal life, we'd like to know more about what you do when you're off the road and at home. Your fans want to know more. What can I tell them?
Tell them maybe next time I'll talk about that. Now I have to warm up and get back to the match.
Thanks, champ.
Yeah, thanks, champ. We're your biggest fans. We'll send you a copy of the article as soon as it comes out.
Okay, folks, the champ's got to get ready for the next match. Hey, fellas, did you get the interview that you wanted?
You bet. The champ was fantastic.
You know, it's been my experience that when other people see you trying to do something right, generally, they'll try and help you out too.
He was cool, and man, is he smart.
Good. Okay, guys, be careful going in. Ladies and gentlemen, before announcing the principals in the next match, I want you